I'd like to greet everyone all around the world, all human beings, with a universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you the toughest to the weakest person on the face of this earth. I greet all of you all with a universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. Today is August the 20th, 2019. It's Tuesday. It's about 6:42 a.m. in the morning. Lately, I get a little sleep and then I wake on back up thinking about my time here in Mississippi County, Missouri, Charleston. I've been thinking about all the injustice that's been done to me for the entire 23 years that I've been down here. But then the experience that my two young daughters and my 91-year-old, soon to be 92-year-old dad have experienced the failure for Mississippi County, Missouri, here in Charleston, Missouri, a legal system to give us equal protection under the law. These two kittens here, mothers died a few months ago. When we took our trips to Chicago, it was 4 of them left and 2 of them survived. They remind me of my 2 daughters when they was unjustly taken away from me back in 2008 for 70 days. They was in the city of Chicago, homeless, but I rescued them. They were survivors. These 2 here are survivors. But I want to give y'all a little something to show you how cruel and racist these the law system here, or the legal system here in Charleston, Missouri is, and how they treated me and my family. This including black law enforcement officials too, and it's including ignorant blacks that's working hand in hand with them. Let's start with June of 2000, when Robert Hearns, Bobby Hearns from the Charleston Police Department, he's the chief now. Let me give you some history on him, why he the chief. Not that he's qualified to be the chief, but his uncle, may he rest in peace, Warren Hearns, was the governor here in the state of Missouri. Warren Hearns' wife, which is Warren Hearns is Bobby's uncle, Robert Hearns' uncle, and Warren Hearns' wife, which is Robert Hearns' aunt, Betty Hearns, was a state representative. They're Democrats here, and I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican, but the Democrats here in Charleston, Missouri, black and white, has been almost like the Jim Crow era to me. They work hand in hand. All you got to do is just take a look around and you will see. And not all the Democrats now. You see what I'm saying? But most of them. But let me tell you what Robert Hearns did on June of 2000, the year 2000. I was staying over there on Rodney and all of my neighbors was there, black and white. Watched him and a white police officer by the name Beth Acat. Been married about 5 times. She left the Charleston, Missouri Police Department with a disgrace. Those that don't leave with a disgrace, they leave because they don't want to be up under this racist and unjust legal system that Charleston, Missouri Police Department provides. But they came to my house about 2 o'clock in the morning with no warrant, no probable cause, and knocked on my door and asked me did I know that my windshield and my car was busted. But it wasn't busted when I went to sleep. You see what I'm saying? Bobby Hearns, Beth Cap, and a white female and her mother plotted something to try to stop me from doing what I do right now. Exposing racism, exposing injustice, and going up against these racist multi-million-dollar corporations. I went up against Pilot. I went up against Black Gold. I went up against Walmart. But let me tell you what they did. Then he told me somebody wanted to talk to me downtown. Forced me out of my house. Towed my car. You see what I'm saying? And claimed that I did something to a white female, which wasn't nothing to do with having sex. And I refused to go, and they forced me out. I refused to talk to them. And then they locked me up. They had several charges. Only one charge stuck. And then they wrongfully convicted me. Bobby Hearns went and got a probable cause affidavit.
Morning, Raymond.
Hey, how you doing? All right, have a nice one. Went and got a proper cause affidavit that charged me with this charge, but when it was time to go to trial, he never showed up. The stuff that he put in the police report when we tried to dispute it, the police officer said she didn't write it. Bobby Hearns wrote it. But the public defender or the state's attorney didn't have Bobby Hearns to come. You know why? That's how they operate in this town. You see what I'm saying? They put charges on you, especially blacks or whites that don't go along with their program, and they convict them. But it took 19 years for Judge Dolan to remove my name off of this same thing Robert Hearns had me unjustly convicted for. A jury of 11 whites and 1 black, and one of the black knew the lady and her daughter, but the judge didn't call it a mistrial. Ain't that a shame? Now, let's go a little bit further. In that same year, a white man threatened to shoot me, put bullets in my head, and they'll find me over there across the street from Pilot, on the side of Pilot, where the new McDonald's is. Said he'll kill me, but look here. When I called to press charges, the courts never called me, and like I told y'all on this last video, he was supposed to have been charged with a hate crime because he called me the N-word. He's supposed to have been charged with harassment because that's what he was doing. And he's supposed to have been charged with verbal assault because that's what he did. Verbally assaulted me, talked about killing me. And let me tell you, they gave him a plea of trespassing. We know it has nothing to do with trespassing. Everybody know that there. May of 2008, Charleston, Missouri Sergeant Police and a white police came in my house because they said that the judge gave them a expose against my ex-wife, an expose against me and for her to get the children. But she been out in the streets for 72 hours using heroin and crack. 72 hours. And they said, the judge said that she's supposed to get an expose. Now, we had a court date for June the 3rd of 2008 because they took them out of my house a little bit after midnight on May the 19th of 2008. Go to court, wife, kids, judge, nobody at court but me and my lawyer. Long story short, they came in my house illegally. No police report or nothing. But afterwards, me and my lawyer filed a divorce. 70 days later, I found my 2 children in Chicago in the streets, living in the streets with their mother. They was filthy, hair nappy, clothes dirty, Pampers full of urine and defecation, multiple mosquito bites, malnourished, dehydrated, and worst of all, my then just turned 2-year-old, her arm had been fractured in the streets with her mother. The doctors in St. Louis, when I got them back to Missouri, said it had been fractured for a minimum, it could have been longer, for a minimum of 2 weeks. Charleston, Missouri Police Department had a part in it. Susanna Wesley and some of these people that worked for Susanna Wesley, that works in the Charleston Police Department, in the Mississippi County Police Department, Mississippi County Detention Center here or jail here in Charleston, Missouri, had pods in it. They know who it is. If you ain't have a pod of it, when I mention these facilities, you shouldn't have nothing to say. I don't care if you have nothing to say, because my daughter's arm was broke and none of y'all paid for it. It's not even a police report. The only one got it documented is me, my daughters and them doctors, the doctors in St. Louis and Columbia. You see what I'm saying? That's how they've been treating our family so far. You see what I'm saying? Now, May of 2016, me and an individual that used to do my videoing down here is a cousin of the sergeant from the Charleston, Missouri Police Department. We was videoing the shootings and stuff here in Charleston, Missouri, and showing how it's not protected on the west side, the black side of town. Then we went up by the Lincoln School, videoing that, and then the guy that runs the Lincoln School thing now, who worked it for Susanna Wesley, whose brother-in-law was the sergeant of the police, who all is tied with some of these judges that's sitting up on the bench now. They called the police, and the guy who called the police, the sergeant was his ex-brother-in-law. They went and threatened my cameraman, and told him if he produced that DVD that we just took, that they were gonna lock me and him up. My cameraman called me and told me. I told him to come on over to my house because I know they can't do it. But they took it away. They took it away from him, and he was scared. So I do it, me and my daughters, because they ain't gonna come and tell me, and they better not tell my daughters nothing, especially after they came in our house like it was still slavery and took my daughters out at 1 and 2 years old and gave them to their drug-addicted mother. That's how cruel these white supremacists that run it. If you ain't white supremacist, you don't need to even respond to it. These cruel white supremacists and these ignorant black so-called leaders and preachers down here. You see what I'm saying? Don't nobody mention that. You see what I'm saying? But see, y'all call me a murderer and stuff like that. If I was a murderer when I got my daughters back and her arm was broke at 2 years old, I would have got to capping a bunch of y'all, but I didn't. I just revealed y'all to these people around the world to let them see. You see what I'm saying? But then we could keep going on. Y'all remember, before I built this fence, I got video coverage. One of my neighbors harassing us. This fence wasn't up here. My daughters and them was frightened. One police over here talking to me on my driveway. Keith Bitford, the Charleston police officer that don't like me and that killed a black mentally ill guy back in 2011, November. He was on this side laughing while the individual was trying to harass and talk negative things to me, while the police over on this side telling him to be quiet. Keith Bitt was over there laughing. I got the video to show it. Wasn't no police report made, wasn't no public disturbance, wasn't nothing saying that they frightened my daughters. Then the next neighbor, the same type of stuff. I had to build this $400 fence. I complained several times. Her children's coming over here in this yard, trespassing, tearing up stuff. They did nothing about it. You see what I'm saying? Then you have these so-called people that Susanna Wesley, these other organizations said that God called to have a unity march. Y'all seen them several times come on this corner at night, harassing me and my family. Then going on this corner here, harassing me and my family. Then going by the police department and harassing me and my family. But what do the judges do? Most of them is no police report, and then the other ones, they don't do nothing about it. But let me tell you what the city attorney said. He said, I'm not a credible witness when my videos show him what these individuals do. That show you how racist these people is. It's still like 1619 in Mississippi County, Missouri. This 2019, but it's still like when the Mayflower come over here, they think slavery is still in effect, but they don't know. God got people that's going to come down here and clean this town up. Peace be still.